There are few things in life more painful than being hurt by someone you trusted. It's not the strangers who destroy your peace. It's the ones who pretended to care only to tear you down when you weren't looking. Maybe it was a friend who knew your secrets and used them against you. Maybe it was someone in your family who kept smiling while silently hoping you'd fail. Or maybe it was someone who spoke sweet words about faith, but behind closed doors their actions were far from anything righteous. We live in a world where people wear masks. Not every smile means love. Not every compliment is sincere, and not every religious appearance reflects a clean heart. That's what makes it so confusing and so dangerous. Because when someone pretends to be kind, spiritual or supportive, we let our guard down, we trust, we open up, and that's when the wounds are deepest. But here's what we often forget. Allah is not unaware of these hidden games. He sees what is behind every smile, every word, and every intention. And He has not left us blind. Through the Qur'an and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Allah has given us signs to help us recognize harmful behavior. Not so we can judge people, but so we can protect our hearts, our faith and our peace. Sometimes the pain you feel isn't weakness, it's a warning. Sometimes the unease in your chest when you're around someone is not paranoia, it's a mercy from Allah, nudging you to step back. Because when you walk with sincerity, Allah always sends signals. The challenge is learning how to see them. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 clear signs based on Islamic teachings that can help you identify someone whose presence may be damaging your soul. These aren't opinions or theories. These are warnings drawn from the Qur'an and the wisdom of the Prophet, peace be upon him. They're not here to make you suspicious. They're here to open your eyes. Because the truth is, sometimes the most dangerous people are not the loud ones. They're the ones who act innocent while quietly destroying your peace. And if you've been confused, hurt or stuck wondering why your heart feels heavy around someone, it's time to pay attention. Allah may be showing you the truth and protecting you in ways you didn't even ask for. One of the most difficult things in life is trying to understand why someone who seems good can still hurt you deeply. It's even harder when that person says things like, "I'm only advising you," or "I care about you," but their actions constitutionally leave you broken. They may speak with softness, share verses from the Qur'an, or act like they're helping you grow, but somehow every time you deal with them you feel drained, unsure of yourself, and less connected to your faith. You begin to wonder, am I imagining this? Am I being too sensitive? Am I wrong for feeling this way? The truth is, you're not alone in that confusion. This is something countless believers go through. Feeling guilty for setting boundaries, feeling ashamed for stepping away from someone toxic simply because that person appears religious or is a close family member. But here's the reality. Islam teaches us goodness is not just in words, it's in character. Allah warns us in the Qur'an about people who cause harm while pretending to be righteous. He says that among people are those whose speech may please you in worldly life, but their actions cause destruction. They may even swear that they mean well, but Allah knows what is truly in their hearts. This shows us that not everyone who says the right thing is safe to be around. Some hearts are poisoned with pride, envy or deceit, and that poison spreads in the form of manipulation, betrayal and harm. Recognizing this doesn't mean you are judging someone's soul. It means you are obeying Allah by protecting your own. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us to be wise. He said that a believer is not stung from the same hole twice. That means if someone has shown harmful traits repeatedly, and you keep getting hurt while giving them chances, at some point, it's no longer just their fault. It becomes your test too. This is where we must be honest. Sometimes we hold on to people out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of what others will think, fear of feeling like a failure. But your peace, your connection with Allah, and your emotional stability are too valuable to be sacrificed for people who continue to break you. When a person's presence constantly brings confusion, pain, and a weakening of your faith, that's not love, that's not advice, that's not kindness, that's a warning. Allah doesn't expect us to live in constant fear of others, but He does want us to be alert, to observe patterns, to seek His guidance when our heart is unsettled. That's why in the Qur'an we are taught to seek protection from the evil of people who whisper and deceive, ushba'ala. People who may smile in public but carry hidden harm in their hearts. This is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It's about becoming sincere with yourself. Your emotional safety matters. Your spiritual being matters. You are not weak for walking away. You are wise for walking toward peace. In the next section, we will look at how even the Prophet, peace be upon him, handled situations where people around him appeared trustworthy, but their hearts were filled with hypocrisy. You'll see that Islam teaches us to respond with wisdom, not anger. And you'll learn how to spot the signs so you can protect yourself without falling into bitterness or revenge. Because recognizing evil is not about becoming harsh, it's about becoming free. The most powerful example of recognizing hidden harm comes from the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. During his time in Medina, there were people who outwardly declared faith. They prayed with the believers, they listened to the Prophet, peace be upon him. They acted like part of the community, but inside, their hearts were filled with hatred, envy, and pride. They were not believers, they were hypocrites. Allah revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, who these people were. He knew them by name. And yet, what did he do? He did not expose them publicly. He did not humiliate them or seek revenge. He stayed calm, wise, and patient. He taught the believers to be alert, not through suspicion, but through awareness and action. This shows us something incredibly important. It is not sinful to protect yourself from harmful people, even if they wear the mask of faith, even if they say they believe. Even if others around you still praise them. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was not fooled by appearances. He followed the signs that Allah gave him, and he used that knowledge to protect the community, not to shame or attack. It's the example we follow today. When you start to feel uneasy around someone, when their actions and words constantly hurt your heart, cause chaos or plant doubts, you don't need to start arguments. You don't need to confront or expose. You simply step back, set boundaries, protect your peace. And most importantly, seek clarity through dua. Because when Allah shows you something, when He allows you to see behind the mask, that's a gift, not a punishment. It's a sign of His mercy. And if the Prophet, peace be upon him, could recognize harmful traits while still being gentle and just, then we can too. This is not about looking down on others. It's about following the example of the one who was never fooled by false piety. It's about protecting your soul without damaging your character. And that balance is what makes you stronger, not bitter, but wiser. In today's world, harmful people don't always look like villains. In fact, the ones who hurt us the most are often the ones who smile the most, praise us in front of others, and speak softly when they want something. But behind that surface is a pattern. And when you look closely, it's a pattern that the Qur'an has warned us about again and again. Think about your own life. Maybe there's someone who always finds a way to turn your happiness into guilt. When you achieve something, they stay silent. When you fail, they suddenly become. These aren't just personality flaws. These are signs of deeper harm. And Islam teaches us to recognize them for what they are. Allah describes people who break trust and spread division. He warns us of those who lie, backbite, and manipulate others behind closed doors. The Qur'an even tells us that some people create mischief while claiming they're fixing things. And when they're told to fear Allah, they brush it off with pride. These warnings weren't for the past alone. They are guidance for our everyday relationships, family, friends, co-workers, even community members. So how do we recognize these signs today? First, look at the effect someone has on your relationship with Allah. Do you feel spiritually drained after interacting with them? Do they make you feel unworthy, anxious, or constantly in doubt of your intentions? A person who pulls you away from peace, prayer, or sincerity is not a healthy influence, no matter how close they are. Second, observe their behavior in private versus public. Do they speak kindly to you in front of others but belittle you in private? Do they change their tone, their loyalty, or their values depending on who's watching? Consistency is a sign of sincerity, but hypocrisy lives in masks, and sooner or later those masks slip. Third, watch how they respond to correction. A sincere person feels regret when they hurt others. They apologize, they reflect. But someone with a corrupt heart becomes defensive, angry, or even turns the blame back on you. They make you feel like the problem even when they are the one causing harm. Fourth, see if they divide or unite. Some people thrive on stirring conflict, creating doubt between friends, planting suspicion in families, or twisting words to spark fights. They act innocent, but their presence constantly brings tension. Islam teaches us to be people of unity, mercy, and reconciliation. So if someone's presence always brings distance and drama, that's not from Allah. And finally, observe the state of your heart. Your soul knows when something is wrong. You feel it, a tightness, a confusion, a heaviness after every conversation. That is not weakness. That is your heart responding to harm. And when you make dua asking Allah for clarity, He will often show you the truth in small ways, through dreams, through changed behavior, through feelings that won't go away. Trust that inner pull. Allah placed it there for your protection. In a world full of noise, followers and surface level relationships, it becomes harder to see the truth. But the teachings of Islam are timeless. They give you the tools to protect your soul, to honor your heart, and to walk away from relationships that quietly destroy you. You don't need to hate anyone, you don't need to make announcements, but you do need to value yourself enough to say, if someone is pulling me away from Allah, then I need to let go. Don't ignore the signs. Don't explain away the discomfort. Don't keep giving pieces of your heart to someone who only takes and never gives. Islam is not a religion of blind patience. It is a path of wisdom, strength, and trust in Allah's guidance. And the moment you begin to see clearly, the moment you realize who someone really is, that's not when you fall apart, that's when you rise. That's when healing begins. Because Allah never exposes someone in your life without offering you a door toward peace. When you realize someone has been harming you, emotionally, spiritually, or mentally, it's natural to feel broken. You may question your worth. You may cry over wasted years, lost energy, and silent pain. But what you must remember is this: just because someone fooled you doesn't mean Allah abandoned you. In fact, it may be that He allowed you to see the truth, not to destroy you, but to save you. Because sometimes His mercy doesn't come in the form of answered prayers. It comes in the form of closed doors and revealed masks. This is where faith becomes your greatest healing. You don't need every situation to work out the way you imagined. You don't need every person to return your kindness. You only need one thing: your connection with Allah. And when you turn to Him fully and sincerely, you'll begin to see that peace doesn't come from people treating you right. It comes from your heart being right with the one who never leaves your side. Start with your salah, even if your heart is heavy, even if your thoughts are scattered, even if your tears fall while you're in sujood. Keep praying, keep whispering. Tell Allah everything. Tell Him who hurt you. Tell Him how lost you feel. Tell Him what you wish had turned out differently. And then say, but I trust you more than I trust my pain. This is not weakness, this is strength. Real strength is not in pretending you're fine. It's in kneeling down and admitting, Ya Allah, I cannot carry this alone. And once you admit that, something beautiful happens. You stop trying to control what's outside you and you start healing what's within you. Then make remembrance your habit. Every moment of pain becomes lighter when you say, thanks Allah. Not because you're happy with what happened, but because you believe Allah will bring something better. To remind yourself that no one, no person, no heartbreak, no betrayal has power over your soul. Only Allah does. And He is enough, giving charity even if it's small. Sometimes the best way to heal a heart that's been broken by people is to help people who are also hurting. When you give, you're not just helping others, you're showing Allah that even in your pain, you still choose to be kind. And that sincerity reaches Him faster than any loud dua. Practice gratitude even for the pain. Say, thank you Allah for showing me the truth even if it hurt. Thank you for removing people who were blocking my blessings. Thank you for protecting me in ways I didn't understand. That kind of gratitude is not fake. It's not forced. It's the kind of gratitude that builds a bridge between your brokenness and Allah's mercy. And remember, the journey back to peace isn't always fast. Sometimes healing takes time. Sometimes you'll still miss the people who hurt you. That's okay. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. What matters most is that even in that sadness, you keep choosing faith. You keep saying, Ya Allah, I don't understand everything, but I believe. You never make mistakes. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us that whoever gives up something for the sake of Allah, Allah will replace it with something better. So if you had to give up a relationship that drained you, if you had to walk away from someone who never appreciated your worth, if you had to lose something you really wanted just to protect your soul, you just haven't reached it yet. And finally, know this: evil people may delay your peace, but they can never deny it. Because what is written for you will always find you as long as you're walking toward Allah. You don't need to chase healing. You don't need to beg for closure. You just need to keep your heart clean, your prayers consistent, and your hope alive. When you place your pain in the hands of Allah, it doesn't disappear overnight, but it transforms, it turns into wisdom, it turns into strength, it turns into a calm certainty that no matter what people do, Allah is still writing your story. And He never ends a sincere soul's chapter in pain. Sometimes the most powerful lessons don't come from books, they come from pain. And often that pain comes wrapped in betrayal. But what you do with that pain, how you respond, how you heal and how you grow can define your entire journey with Allah. There's a sister named Amina who once had a close friend. They used to pray together, attend Islamic lectures and share their dreams. But slowly Amina began to feel uncomfortable. Her friend would share her secrets with others, then act innocent. She would mock her behind her back, then post Qur'an verses on social media. Amina held on, hoping things would improve. But when that same friend started twisting her words and turned her community against her, Amina broke. She isolated herself and stopped attending the masjid altogether. For a while, she thought something was wrong with her. She doubted her worth. But eventually, she opened the Qur'an one night and found comfort in a verse that described how hypocrites cause division while claiming to be righteous. That was her turning point. She realized that it wasn't her fault. She was just seeing clearly for the first time. And from that day, she stopped seeking people's approval and started seeking Allah's closeness. Her peace didn't come from confronting anyone. It came from stepping away, praying with sincerity and trusting that Allah had removed what was harmful. Then there's Yusuf, a brother who started a small business with someone he met through the mosque. In the beginning, everything was smooth. They shared a vision, made plans and supported each other. But as time went on, Yusuf noticed something was off. Money was missing, promises were broken, and his partner would gaslight him, making him feel guilty for even asking questions. Yusuf kept forgiving, thinking he was being patient for the sake of Allah. But the betrayal only got deeper. When the truth finally came out that the partner had been stealing and spreading lies, Yusuf was crushed. He had trusted someone who used religion to gain his confidence. But what helped him recover wasn't revenge, it was accountability. He distanced himself, handled the matter legally, but more importantly, he turned to night prayers. He begged Allah to give him clarity, and slowly his business recovered, not just financially, but spiritually. Today, Yusuf helps others avoid the same trap. His story became a reminder that patience does not mean silence. It means action guided by faith. And there's also little Fatma, just a teenager, but already facing pain many adults can't handle. She lived in a home where a relative constantly belittled her, calling her useless, mocking her appearance, and discouraging every effort she made. In front of others, that relative acted loving, but in private the words were sharp, constant and cruel. Fatma didn't know who to talk to. Her confidence shattered. She thought maybe Allah had made her unworthy. But one day, after a particularly painful evening, she found a short video where someone said, if a person's presence makes you feel worthless, they are not a blessing in your life, they are a test. That night she cried in sujbah and whispered her pain to Allah for the first time. It changed her. She began journaling. She started making dua rapu, where she can fight or argue. She just learned to value herself because Allah does. Now she's older, stronger, wiser, and she uses her story to support others going through emotional abuse. Her biggest victory wasn't proving someone wrong. It was rediscovering her worth through faith. These stories are not rare. They are happening every day. And they prove something powerful. People may fail you, but Allah never does. Every betrayal becomes a step closer to Him if you allow it. Every wound becomes a window, a place where His light enters. So if you've been hurt, used or manipulated, know this, you are not broken, you are awakening. And once you begin to see with faith, the pain no longer controls you, it transforms you. If there's one thing you take away from this message, let it be this: Allah never allows your pain to go to waste. Every time someone harmed you in silence, every time you felt confused by someone's two-faced behavior, every time your heart cried but your lips stayed quiet, Allah saw it all. And not a single moment was ignored by Him. You are not weak for being deceived. You are not foolish for trusting. What makes you strong is what you choose next. Do you let this pain define you, or do you let it refine you? Allah teaches us through hardship. He removes people not to punish us but to protect us. And if someone's presence is damaging your peace, weakening your prayer, or making you question your worth, then it may not be a loss, it may be a rescue. Recognizing harmful traits doesn't make you arrogant, it makes you a believer. It makes you a believer who observes patterns, makes dua for clarity and follows the signs Allah sends. That is not judgment, that is faith in action. So here's your reminder. Evil people can only pretend for so long. Eventually truth is revealed. And when it is, don't run back to what broke you. Step forward, even if it's painful, and say, Ya Allah, I trust you more than I trust my emotions. Guide me toward what is best. Because once Allah shows you the truth, it's a mercy. The people who leave your life were never your protectors. The peace you were missing was never in them. It was in your closeness to Allah. If someone's actions pull you away from your faith, your focus and your peace, then that person is not a sign of love. They are a test. And your strength lies in recognizing that test before it destroys your heart. So take your pain, place it in sujud, and walk forward with your head held high, not because of pride, but because you know that Allah is guiding your every step. And in time you'll look back and say that heartbreak didn't destroy me, it redirected me. Because with Allah, nothing is ever truly lost, only replaced with something better.